Cleaning your plate may not help feed starving children today, but the time-worn advice of mothers everywhere may help reduce food waste from the farm to the fork, help the environment, and make it easier to feed the world's growing population. Hard data is still being collected, but experts at Reuters Food and Agricultural Summit in Chicago this week said an estimated 30% to 50% of the food produced in the world goes uneaten. Uneaten. The average American throws away 33 pounds of food each month, about $40 worth, according to the Natural Resources Defense Council, which plans to publish a report on food waste in April. In a year, that means each person throws away almost 400 pounds of food, the weight of an adult male gorilla. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that 23% of eggs and an even higher percent of produce ends up in the trash. We forget we have all these fresh fruits and vegetables, and at the end of the week we have to throw them away, says Esther Gove, a mother of 3 young children in South Berwick, Maine. Now I don't buy as much fresh produce as I used to. But the impact of food waste stretches far beyond the kitchen. Agriculture is the world's largest user of water, a big consumer of energy and chemicals, and a major emitter of greenhouse gases during production, distribution, and landfill decay. Experts say reducing waste is a simple way to cut stress on the environment while easing pressure on farmers, who will be called on to feed an expected 9 billion people around the world in 2050 versus nearly 7 billion today. So here they say agriculture, the production of this food, where they're wasting 30 to 50% of it, is the world's largest user of water, a big consumer of energy and chemicals, and a major emitter of greenhouse gases during the production of all this food. No matter how sustainable the farming is, if the food's not getting eaten, it's not sustainable, and it's not a good use of our resources, agricultural specialist at the NRDC said at the Reuters Summit. In richer nations, edible fruit and vegetables end up in landfills because they are not pretty enough to meet the retailer standards, have gone bad in a home refrigerator, or were not eaten at a restaurant. In developing countries, much food spoils before it gets to the market due to poor road conditions and lack of refrigeration. High food prices are another factor, since some people can't afford the food that's produced, said Patrick Woldall, research and director and senior policy advisor for Food and Water Watch. It's not a situation where you have to massively wrap up production, Woodall told the Reuters Summit. Even in 2008, when there were hungry riots around the world, there was enough food to feed people. It was just too expensive. DuPont is working with farmers in Kenya to extend the life of raw milk. Often farmers have to travel up to 20 kilometers to get their milk to market, and due to the country's high temperatures, much of the milk gets wasted, Jim Borrell, an executive vice president with DuPont, said. This has broad application, but we're focused on Africa right now, Borrell said. Europe is a leader in tackling food waste, but the United States is catching on as producers facing tepid sales growth look to control losses. For example, a General Mills pizza plant found a way to use heat to make toppings stick to frozen pizza better. This system is expected to prevent thousands of pounds of cheese and other pizza toppings from going to waste each year. Look at that. This system is expected to prevent thousands of pounds of cheese and other toppings from going to waste each year. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency said 33 million tons of food waste hit landfills and incinerators in 2010, the largest solid waste product in the system. EPA has launched a program to address the issue. Experts from EPA and other groups have floated a variety of recommended fixes. They say clarifying sell-by and use-by dates could help consumers avoid throwing food in the garbage too soon. Some food could be rescued and used in soup kitchens, while certain leftovers could be used as animal feed. So they're saying that from all the fruit production that goes on all across the world, and specifically focused in the United States of America, but this applies to all across the world, in all the food production that goes on, 30 to 50% of it never gets eaten. It gets thrown away in the garbage. 30 to 50% of the food that is produced by these companies, General Mills, Kraft, and whatever other companies you can think of, 30 to 50% of it gets thrown away. So next time you're going shopping in the grocery store, whether it be Costco, a Maxi, or whatever grocery store that you go and do your shopping, take a look around and see how big that shopping store is, and realize that 30 to 50% of all that food that you see in that store will eventually wind up in the garbage, not eaten. Agriculture, food production, is the world's largest user of water. So to produce this food, it takes a massive amount of water. It uses the most water compared to anything that's in operation in our world right now to produce agriculture. And 50% of that, up to 50% of that goes to waste. So up to 30 to 50% of that water is also going to waste during this production procedure. And is a big consumer of energy and chemicals. Chemicals meaning fertilizers and repellents against bugs and the such. And is a major emitter of greenhouse gases. So this is what it takes to produce the food that we're eating and buying. And 30 to 50% of that goes to waste. Now the article said that the reason why a lot of food is going to waste is because it's very expensive. The food is very expensive. The so-called experts in the field, if you go and look, they will give you a lot of reasons why the food is expensive. In fact, they'll give you a million reasons why the food is expensive, and then one more. And all these reasons and excuses are full of garbage. They're not telling you the truth why food is expensive, why this is going on and this is happening in our countries. Why is it that we're being gouged for something that is natural and something that is free? Considering that 30 to 50% of it is going to waste, and the chemicals and the energy to make this food is being wasted, why should we pay the consequences? Now they say that food is expensive. That's what they'll say. Oh, because it costs a lot to make, the chemicals and the fertilizers cost a lot. Well, you just need to look at these food producers, again, such as Kraft or General Mills. Go and check out how much they make per year. Go and check out their company's value, how much money profit they made that year, and then realize that's profit they made off of your back. That's profit they made off of the prices of the food, even though they're throwing away a lot of this food, even though a lot of this food goes to waste. They're still making profits. And they'll say, well, it's expensive to produce, it's expensive to create, that's why we're charging so much when you go to the grocery stores. Well, if that's the truth, why are you making billions of dollars profit off of my back? If I looked into your books, if I looked into your accounting, and I saw that you were not making millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars off my back, and then you told me, well, that food is expensive to make, I would be more inclined to listen to you and believe you. But I look into the stock reports of your companies, and I see that you're making hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars of profits off of this food industry. And you're going to claim that food is too expensive to make. No, you're putting the prices, you're putting them up and putting the burdens on the back of the people, and you're enriching yourselves, the owners of these companies. And then you're claiming lies to us, that's saying it's too hard, it's too expensive, that's why we're paying so much. It's because you want to enrich your own bank account. It's because you're enriching yourselves off the slaves, off the people, off the legal persons. Why do you think there's so many food companies in existence? Why do you think there's so many food products that they offer to you? Because for them it's a very profitable game. Very, very profitable. As you see, you just need to go and check the amount of income that these companies are making, the amount of profits that they're making year after year, and you'll see it's very, very profitable for them off of our backs. It's the government, through regulations, that controls food. The agriculture, the prices, and the production of it. What you can and cannot produce here in Canada. It's the government that's allowing all this to transpire against their people, their legal persons. And they think that this system is fair and just for the legal persons, the way it's in operation right now. So 30 to 50% of that food gets wasted, and you as a human being, you have the right to food, as you've seen in the covenants. You have the right to that food. Now there's some that will still be, if you will, kicking against this and saying, oh, what do you mean I have the right? Oh, well, you have the right to food. And look at that. If you don't exercise that right, 30 to 50% of it gets thrown in the garbage. So why do you want to use your hard energy? Why do you want to use your hard effort to get that food, when those who are producing it are throwing it away, and those who are producing it are profiting off your back because the government allowed them to do that? But only to your legal person, because the human, the man, their rights and freedoms includes this. And so if they constructed a commercial system where what they're producing takes a lot of the resources away off the earth, as you saw the article says, it uses the biggest amount of water in the earth, and takes massive amounts of chemicals and fertilizers to grow this production, and then half of it is going to waste.